I know for me, I was trying to do the best I could. So I
Mm-hmm.
kept trying to fit my life into this box that people had created of this parenting style and formula, and it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't fitting. And I thought, this is a mess. So when we got into the business world, I thought, this is what I've been looking for. What are some guidelines? What are some principles that work universally?
Today's video is brought to you by the Beloved Collective, a membership site for Christian women providing guided video Bible studies, printable study guides, and online community to help you connect with God in simple, practical, and meaningful ways. Join for free today at mybelovedcollective.com. Hello, beloved, and welcome to Beloved Women with me, Christina Patterson, where we encourage, uplift, and equip women in the love of Jesus Christ and the truth of God's Word. If you're new here, welcome to Beloved, and be sure to subscribe so that you never miss a weekly video. And for those of you returning, welcome back. Today's video is for the mamas. We're going to be talking about what it means to be an intentional parent in a busy and distracted world with my friend Susan Seay. Susan is a wife and mom to 7, author of the book The Intentional Parent, and owner of Mentor for Moms, where she helps mothers make this shift to mothering from a place of peace, intention, and purpose. If you are a mom drowning in the opinions of what being a good mom looks like, in addition to the general pressures of motherhood, today's interview is just for you. Enjoy. Hello, beloved, and welcome to Beloved Women with me, Christina Patterson, where we encourage, uplift, and equip women in the love of Jesus Christ and the truth of God's Word. I have a special gift for all of you today. We're going to have a very encouraging and uplifting conversation with a friend of mine, Susan Seay, who wrote the book, The Intentional Parent. We're going to talk about what does it mean to be intentional as a mom, and how can we do that when life is busy and crazy. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Susan.
Oh man, it is my pleasure to be here. I look forward to this. We're going to have a great time.
Thank you. So I wanted to just kind of start off, and if you could just tell us a little bit about who you are and what Mentor for Moms is and how you kind of got into that.
Oh, I'd love to. So for me, a mentor for moms is just the title that so many women have continually said to me or called me over the years.
Okay.
And it just stuck. So it was never something that I thought, this is what I'm going to call myself. It just became so many times moms would say, oh, she's my mentor. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that's what I was doing. But hey, okay, if it works. So my heartbeat behind everything that I do is my husband and I have a background in business. We built a successful real estate investment company. And as we were building that company, we were going to constant trainings to learn, how do you build a business, and how do you hire people, and how do you build a team, and all these things that we didn't grow up knowing how to do. So we had to learn and figure it out. And as I would sit in these conferences and trainings, I would just hear so much information that was geared towards training people to be managers in their business. And I just was taking feverish notes. My husband thought, oh man, she's so into this. And I was like, no, this is like the best stuff I've ever heard from moms in my life. Why doesn't anybody ever
You
take
made that connection.
Oh my goodness, these management principles that they're giving to business people, they apply to the family and the home in such an amazing way. And I'm like, why don't we have this?
Okay.
If we were to go out into the marketplace, into the business world, and you were to be hired in a management position, one of the first things they would do is offer you training. They would put you through some type of training course. And here we are as moms, and here we are as parents. Oh my goodness, we don't get that.
We're managing from the hospital, like, good luck.
They're like, all right, girl, you got this. Good luck. Work it out. You know what I'm saying? And you're looking at them like, okay, surely somebody.
Is there a manual or something?
Yes. I don't think we should do it like this. I don't think you should just put this child in my hands and I just kind of walk away like, okay,
I don't know.
I don't know. And nobody's checking up on us. Like nobody's asking, how's it going? You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things that I feel like we're managing the most important organization within our society. And we're doing it without any kind of training and support. And here's where I want to be clear. Gosh. I think we need training and support. What we don't need is a formula. And too often in the parenting space, I feel like people have parenting styles and they have a parenting
Right.
formula. And then I know for me, I was trying to do the best I could. So I
Mm-hmm.
kept trying to fit my life into this box that people had created of this parenting style and formula, and it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't fitting. And I thought, this is a mess. So when we got into the business world, I thought, this is what I've been looking for. What are some guidelines? What are some principles that work universally?
Right, right. Okay. So, can you tell us a little bit about the difference between guidance and then a formula? Because
Mm.
I know what you mean by that. Like, because, I know when I had my first child, it was just like so much advice out there. It's so much
Yes.
that I'm doing this and it's better because of this. And at the end of the day, you lay in the bed and look up at the ceiling and feel like I am ruining my child's life because how do I know if I'm getting it right or not when there's so much information out there?
Honestly, and heaven help, God bless the mamas who are doing it now because you do a Google search and on top of everything your friends, your family, your neighbor, and everybody else said, now Google's got a million and one other ideas and suggestions, and Pinterest has pictures of things
Right.
that you
This is how it's supposed to look like. Not only what are you supposed to do,
yes,
it should look like this.
that.
My
And
life
it's
ain't looking like that.
beyond, it's beyond overwhelming. So for me, what I mean when I say intentional, let's set that context. When I
Okay.
mean intentional, I mean that to be having both the courage and the confidence to live true to your core values. And I'm going to say
Okay.
that again, having both the courage and the confidence to live true to your core values. And it's going to require us to be brave because when you start living according to your core values, you're going to be different than everybody else around you because
That's true.
every family is going to have their own unique set of core values. It's going to look different. It should look different. If we all start looking the
Mm.
same, I feel like that's a red flag. We should start checking in because somewhere somebody has been having success and the rest of us are just trying to say, well, whatever they did, man, I'm just trying to get the same results. And that's
Right.
not how God designs our families. And that's not how God shepherds us as a father to each one of us. He treats us special because he created us special. So our
Right.
families should look like that and reflect that.
So, how do I find out what my core values are if I don't feel like I have like a standard to look at? You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
I mean, I know that formulas are bad because how this one family does it, it might not work for me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I'm like really compliant. I like rules. So I'm
Mhm.
like, tell me what the rules are. You know what I'm saying? So I can just do it. And then, like you said, I can get these X amount of results, you know?
Mhm.
And the biggest thing that has challenged that in me and taught me that, okay, it don't always work that way, Christina, is motherhood
Come
every
on.
single day every single
Mhm.
day. So I'm like, I go to school and it's like, do X, Y, and Z, and this is the grade that you get. There's a curriculum
Yes.
that you follow. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Mhm.
so I love that. I
Mhm.
love that. But that
Yeah.
does not work for my family
No.
because there is, I mean, Susan, last week and the week before, we had, I have these plans where I want to get done and these monthly goals and stuff like that. Girl, my daughter had a sinus infection. We didn't know
Yeah.
what it was.
Mhm.
My son, 2 days later, got strep throat. They
Come
both
on.
on antibiotics.
Yep.
Then when she's in school, he's not. When he's not, she is. Girl, it was. I'm still trying to recover from that, and I'm still trying to catch up. And there's just no. How do I find out what my core values are
Mhm.
when there isn't that structure I'm kind of craving a little bit.
Yes. Okay, first of all, just so you know, it is not just you. All of us
Right?
wish there was a daggum formula. It would be like,
Just
if
let
we
me.
could just,
Yes.
please, somebody lay it on me. I will
Yeah.
do it because I don't like this uncertainty. I don't
Oh,
like feeling like I'm steady trying to figure this out as my kids are growing. Like, I feel like I should know and then go implement. I shouldn't be discovering this as we go. So
right.
that's a really great question. How do you discover your core values? So the way that I believe that we do that is going right back to those same business principles. And that's, if you were going to start a business, one of the first things they would tell you to do is write a business plan, right? They're like, what is this business? What do you want it to be? How is it going to look? What do you envision it being? And I just pull from that the principles that are in that. And I say, every family should take the time to create a vision for their family. And I have
Okay.
a podcast called the Mentor for Moms podcast. People can look that
Oh,
up. And
Okay.
on the Mentor for Moms podcast, there are 2 episodes completely dedicated to how to create a vision. What would that look like?
Mm,
How can you pull that all together? But so I'll just give in general terms. It could look like journaling. It could look like you simply answering the questions on paper. What is it that I believe God has for our family? What is it that I envision? What are the desires God's put in my heart for my family, for my children, for if they're married, for my husband and I? Like, what
mm,
does that look like? And just answer those questions in a journal. For other people, they may be more visual and they'd like to do some kind of resource like a vision board where they
okay.
actually go through magazines and they pull out pictures that when they think about family and they think about what they want for their family, they put those images, they put those words on a board and they allow that board to be this grounding, centering, focal place where they say, this is the overall vision of what I'd like to see created. And then
Right.
from that vision, whether you journaled it, whether you wrote it out, whether you put it in pictures, I want you to sit with that, look at that, and choose 3 core values. And it's just
Mm,
3. It's
just three.
just 3. I get mamas trying to negotiate with me all the time.
50.
Like, we chose 5. I got 6. It got 4. I'm like, it's 3. It's 3. It's 3.
Yeah.
Choose 3 core values that they're willing to commit to for the next 12 months. And then in
Right.
12 months, revisit it and say, do these core values really serve us? Is this really headed in the right direction? And allow that to be the discovery process. Because what core values do is they focus our attention in just the minimal and into those things that matter the most to us on a heart level. They
Yeah.
really get to the core of who we are, and they really are a guidance. If you think of like the North Star is for like people who sail, like they look
Hmm.
for the North Star, people who camp out in the woods, they allow the North Star to guide them. That
Right.
our core values become a guidance for us. So when we get into places like both of our children are sick, we still got work to do, we're still trying to manage the home, and you're trying to figure out like what is most important right now, and how do I meet all these different needs and demands around me, you allow your core values to guide you in the decisions you make. So no longer
That's
does it
good.
feel random or no longer does it feel arbitrary in how you're handling it. Your core values are guiding you every step of the way.
That's good. That's good. So, like, if I were to think about like my core values, number one would be okay, put God first. You know,
Mm-hmm.
probably next would be my marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, you know what I'm saying? It's like, because I feel like that's the foundation for the family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then just the total family, making sure that they are taken care of
Mm-hmm.
and happy, you know?
Yeah.
And I like the idea of kind of having the core values, because when you really sit down and think about it, I think that we can kind of get our values confused with, is dinner cooked on time? Is the laundry done?
Come
And
on.
so then when that stuff doesn't happen,
Come on.
we feel like failures. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? And so
I
then it's
really
like,
do.
okay, if I figure out what my core values are, even though I didn't get anything on my to-do list done today, did I put God first? Did I try, you know what I'm saying, to make sure I honored him,
Yes.
as we were driving back and forth from the doctor's appointment? And then it's like, well, maybe it's not as complicated as I might be making it.
Come
Maybe
on,
I'm putting the
girl.
pressure on myself. I like this core value thing. I'm gonna write it
Yes.
down. I need like I told you I'm type A. I need like a printable or something I need to write out or something like
Yes.
with just
Yes.
3 on
So
it, because
in
I
the
was trying to
book,
put 12 on there, Susan.
yeah, I
I'm gonna be
know.
one of those
I
mamas.
know. Y'all
Wait,
try to
I
negotiate
got
with
the
me
book
all
right
the
here.
time.
Is
Yes.
it
So
some?
in the
Okay.
back on page 113,
Oh,
there's an
okay.
entire list of core values for you to choose from. So your core values are actually going to be one word. It's
Oh,
going to
oh,
be
really?
one word.
Okay.
So for our family, our core values are respect,
I like them.
love, and faith.
Now, do they
So,
change though,
mhm. Like,
depending on?
yes, we revisit them every 12 months. I set a date on the calendar,
Oh,
and I'm going to say this now because I get this question a lot. So do you and your husband sit down and do this? Is this a whole family? Do you include the
mm-hmm.
kids? Like, how do you do this? And I just say, if it works for your whole family to sit down, do it. If your husband is into it, do it. In
Yeah,
our household, I do it. And then
yeah, yeah.
I sit down with the vision. I sit down and I come up with the core values. And then I say to my husband, these are the core values I feel like we're really we consistently press into, this is the place God is stretching us, I feel like this is it. If he's like, I like 1 and 2, number 3, I would say, and then we get into a conversation about it. But if I
Okay.
tried to have him sit down with me and do the whole vision part, it would never happen. It's just not who he is. Like, he's just like,
Right.
pull
Right.
me in when we're ready to make a decision. But while we still talking about things and dreaming about things, I
Yeah.
got work to do. Like, I want to go get my work
I think
done.
my husband would probably be the same way. That's some really good advice right there. I think he'd be like, "What is this? Who is Susan?" She said, "What?"
Exactly. Is this about another book you
Why?
read? This another
Why?
workshop you went
Another
to?
one?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, you
Yes.
right. I'm gonna take that approach. Because I'm gonna do this. I really am, Susan. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna put my 3 in the comments of this video, and I want the listeners.
Nice.
I want the people that are watching. I want you to think of your 3 core values, and I want you to put
Mhm.
them in the comments of this video as well. Now, in your book, The Intentional Parent, you
Mhm.
talk about the difference between being distracted and intentional. Can you help us
Mhm.
understand the difference between that?
Oh, absolutely. So I believe that most often when we approach being a mom, we look at our friends, or we look at our own mother, or we look at other relationships or other mothers wherever we're around, and we compare our life to their life. We look
Right,
at them and we say, "Oh, she's great at cooking, or she's great at managing our home, or she's great at working and balancing family." And we see all the things, and many times we see the things that we're not doing well and all the things they are doing well. But we're instantly in this comparison game. And
right.
I believe that instead, it's not Jane Doe versus Jill Doe, right? It's not
Mm,
too different. It's a
mm-hmm,
continuum. And I call it the mom continuum. And
mm.
on one end, we have distracted, and on one end, we have intentional. And there are days where we're intentional, there are days when we're distracted, and we are constantly on this continuum sliding up and down. I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
There are times when I have a meal plan. I could tell you what we're having for dinner. I have created a grocery list from that
Don't
meal
convict
plan.
me,
Oh,
Susan.
come on. Come on. I said
Don't
there are
convict
some
me.
times. Did you hear me at the beginning? There are
You
some
right.
times. We're going to be real about this call. So then I get in the grocery store and I got my list, but things are on sale, or they got samples sitting out there in Costco pulling me in. And I came in here with a budget. I came in here with a plan. And now I find myself buying things because they look good, or because I'm hungry, or because the kids have asked for this for 3 times, and I'm gonna go ahead and say yes this time. And
Yeah.
I'm putting the groceries in the cart, and before you know it, I'm in the car. We have grocery shopped. I got a car full of groceries, and I'm hungry, and I'm not interested in cooking because I'm tired. So now I'm like
Right.
pulling up in the nearest drive-through, going, let's see,
Let me get
what
the number
can we
7.
get? What can we get and call it dinner tonight, right? And if you picture that, like, I was intentional with my meal plan. I had the whole
Mm-hmm.
grocery list, and then I'm like out here
It's
picking up
slowly.
stuff because it was just shiny and it looked good, or it was on sample, it was free, it's on sale, whatever. And then I'm back to this, and I'm in and out. I'm in and out. And it was
Right.
never about the other mom in the grocery store. It was never about my neighbor. It was an experience that I was uniquely having in my motherhood journey. And I
Hmm.
do that throughout the day. I do that week to week. I do that month to month. But it's all the mom continuum where where sometimes we're distracted. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Right.
not a shame-filled place. I want to say this because
Okay.
I like to
Okay.
stress
That's
it.
what I was gonna ask.
It's not about shaming us or guilting us for being distracted. It's more of a place of awareness for us to check
Mm,
in and say, am I living intentional in this moment, or am I distracted? If I
mm.
am distracted, because it happens, then what's the one thing I can do right now to start to shift and go back towards that intentional end? Not some
Got it.
huge shift, but just what's one thing I could do? Like, for maybe if I'm in the grocery store and I'm distracted, I could just go right back and go, okay, what's my list? Let's focus on the list. Let's stop looking
Right.
to the side. Let's just focus in.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. I like that. I like the continuum, and like how we're not always gonna be like perfectly intentional. You know what I mean?
Mm.
To have a little bit of that grace and just saying, okay, just do that one thing to get back on track. I like that
Yes.
visual right there. So I know that you mentor a lot of moms. In doing so, I wanted to ask you, what is one major lie that you see moms kind of believe and kind of hurt their mothering through this journey?
Mhm.
One of the
Okay.
biggest ones.
I could feel my eyes start watering up on that one
Oh no.
because I do speaking. I get the pleasure of speaking to moms all over the country. I even got to go to Rwanda last year and speak, which was
Oh
amazing.
wow.
And I do a lot of one-on-one coaching with moms as well. So I really get to hear their struggles and their heartbeat. And I think that one of the things that just breaks my heart is when I hear a mom that most of her friends would say is doing well,
Mm,
is rocking it out. Most people go to her for advice. In fact, that's most
mm,
of the moms that I coach with are moms that everyone else seems to think is the one who's got it all together, who is the one that everybody should go to when they need support and advice. But the true question is, where does the strong woman go when she needs support, right? Even she
yeah.
needs somebody that she can go to, lean on, get some perspective from. And I feel like that challenge comes from this root of, am I enough?
Mm,
Am I enough? I mean, did God really mean for me to parent this child? Did
right.
God really mean it when he said he equipped me in all ways for the calling that's on my life, including
Mm,
motherhood? When I'm facing challenges in my marriage, when I'm facing
mm,
a difficult season in my life with my child, where I'm facing financial troubles I couldn't even anticipate, let alone save up and prepare for, right? And when I'm
mm-hmm.
facing all of those at once in the midst of maybe stuff going on with me hormonally or emotionally, and all of this happening, I'm living in a world that seems just hell bent on destroying the family, destroying marriage, destroying my identity as a woman in Christ. And there's just so much coming at me. Am I really enough for this? Can
Mm-hmm.
I really do this well? Is God pleased? Is this right? Like, these are the questions I hear moms asking.
Like, is it even possible? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you say to that woman who's just like, maybe God made a mistake, like I'm not cut out for this?
Yeah. So, first of all, I think one of the most important things that I get to do as a coach and as a mentor is actually give moms a safe place to say what's real.
Mm,
Because quite often, if you say it to your husband, he's going to want to fix it. He's
that's
going to want to
true.
come up with a solution. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
want to answer the questions that you're not necessarily looking for an answer for. You're just asking them out loud, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
say it to your friends, they might do one of two things. They might either jump in with a bunch of advice and, oh, girl, if that's what's going on, let me tell you what you should do. And then they got all these different pieces of advice. Or they might go to the other way where they say, girl, if you think that's bad, and they kind of one up it. Like, if you think your finances are bad, you should see mine. If you think that your husband is not helpful, you should see mine. If you think your kids are bad, you should see my kids. You know what I'm saying? And either
Right, right.
way, the biggest tragedy is that she's not being heard. So when
Mm,
moms, I am intentional about creating a safe place for them to feel heard and allow themselves to hear from God.
mm, that's good.
Because they start speaking, this beautiful thing happens, Christina. When they
Mm-hmm.
start speaking and they feel heard, I can almost watch a pattern where they get quiet
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll say, you know what, that's not true. And I start smiling because I'm like, it's almost like they went down and then they
Yeah.
start coming up like, that's actually really not true. I'm not a terrible mom. I made a
Right.
mistake. I probably shouldn't have handled that way. But that wasn't the most terrible thing that I could have done. And it was a mistake. That's all it was. It
Mm,
didn't mean I'm not a good mom. It doesn't mean I don't love my children. It doesn't mean my child doesn't love me because they said that. You know what I mean? Like, it just gives
mm-hmm.
them the space to hear from God. And then as a coach, I get to start asking them questions to help them to start to identify where they might want to make the shift so that they can go back towards intentional.
I like that. I think that's really good because it's almost like as moms, I mean, just as women in general, we need time to kind of process, you know? And I know for me, I can go through a whole day. I might be emotional or hormonal or something like that, but I don't have time to be thinking about how I'm feeling about stuff. Stuff got to get done. You know what I mean? And so it just,
you kind of get in this habit of just ignoring how you're feeling and your emotions, even though they're indicators of letting you know what's going on.
Yes.
Or you're just too tired to, you don't want to do it, and it just kind of builds up, and then it's harder to decipher between the truth and the lies, because you've been just like pushing everything down and just focused on the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. So I like what you said about just being heard, and even if it's just praying to God and just saying it out loud to God, like that is so helpful and so true, to just get all those feelings out, even if you feel like at the time they sound completely crazy. You know, they're not. I'm pretty sure 90% of moms are feeling the same way.
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. So I get to ask them the questions and watch them begin to make the shift back towards intentional. And then through my training that I've had as a coach and being involved in the training that trained me, I was in my own personal development training program for 13 years. And then that company trained me to be a coach. So a lot of the tools that I learned over 13 years, that they apply once again to people in the business marketplace. I get to tell moms and teach moms these tools to use every day in their households. And they're simple, practical tools that they can do, right? Like, it's not like you need a workbook and you need to find time to go learn these things and watch 5 videos and take notes and then you could use it. Like, it's something I can teach them in 15 minutes, 20 minutes on a call. I can have them practice it with me, and then they can go live it out and work through it.
That's good. Speaking of business, you are an entrepreneur, wife, and you have 7 kids.
I have 7 children.
How as moms, when we have dreams and we want to start businesses and do different things like that, how do we keep our priorities straight if we kind of feel like being a mom, sometimes we have to say no to a lot of things of our dreams and our dream, when it comes to pursuing our dreams, how do you, like, have you ever been in, I'm sure you have, I'm just going to make the assumption that you've been in a situation where you had to say, I can't do this, where, how do you navigate through the discouragement that sometimes that can bring? Because it's like, we love our kids, you know what I mean? And, but, there are sacrifices to be made as a mom. So how do you navigate that as an entrepreneur?
So,
especially in this hustle culture.
Oh my goodness. Come on. So, one of the things that came to mind as you were asking that question for me, I made a YouTube video because I've had several people ask me, how do you do it all? So I have a video out there about, what don't I do? So what's on my don't do list? So I have a don't do list of things that I just don't do anymore. And that's what makes time possible to do what I do as far as mentoring moms. But there's also a reason why my oldest is going to be 22 this year and my youngest is 8. There's a reason why for the past 16, 17 years, nobody's ever heard of me. There was no book, there was no speaking, there was no traveling, there was mentoring. It just looked different. It looked like somebody sitting on the couch in my living room, or it looked like me with a mom in the grocery store. I was just doing what was natural for me based on the way that God has created me. And I was accepting that there's a time and a place for everything, and that God has his perfect timing, and he's preparing me for whatever he has next, or he wants to include as part of my calling. He's preparing me as much as he is preparing the people I'm to work with, and the things that I'm supposed to do, and the platform that I'm to build. Like, he's preparing that as well. And when his timing is right, there's a grace upon us to do everything that the Lord has called us to do. And when everything starts to feel too heavy or too overwhelming for me, I ask myself, where am I trying to outpace the grace that's on my life?
That's good. Because maybe I'm trying to do too much. Maybe I'm not called to all that yet.
See, now that's me. Because I have tons of ideas. I've got all kinds of things in my Evernote. I have lots of unwritten blog posts, which I've finally given up and said, I'm not a blogger. Just tell the truth about yourself, Susan. You're not a blogger. That's why I have the podcast. But see, there was no podcasting, just a few short years ago. It didn't even exist. That platform wasn't there. Now it's the perfect platform for me because I can just pull out my microphone and I can say all the things that are on my heart to say to moms. I could upload it and there it is, ready for them to be encouragement, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's good. So just trusting God's timing.
Yes.
Now, yesterday I had to put some stuff on hold for, my businesses and things like that because the laundry had to get folded, Susan.
Hello.
Because somebody had to do it. And, if I had to pick a chore that I did not like, that is it. It's like that pile of laundry, Susan, it speaks to me.
Okay.
It's like, I don't like it, but it's like, if you don't get this done, your house is in order. You're not that Pinterest mom. You're not a good mom. You know what I'm saying? But then there's this other part of me that's just kind of like, well, what's the point? Like, like you're gonna spend all morning folding this laundry, and tomorrow, this is gonna be back.
Come on.
Okay, on your floor. And so it's just like,
what size is your household?
Struggle. We're four. We have two kids. So I know you know. And so how do you know, and I think for me, if I had to confess my personal mom temptation, struggle, it is the temptation to think that these small things don't matter. You know what I mean? And so even though it's something small as the laundry, it kind of gets deep, where it's just like, oh, the laundry doesn't matter, but you're doing the laundry. So now it's making me feel like I don't matter. You know what I mean? Like this isn't significant, So how can we overcome that temptation to think like these little things that I have to do over and over again every day that, isn't glorified in society, that it does matter. We need some hopes. I need some hopes.
Yes. So this is something that I tell myself and my children often, and that is that the work that we do day to day is not for man to see, and that includes us as man, but we are working as unto the Lord.
Right.
And how often are we told in scripture about our sight, like what we see? Like faith is not, wait, give me the scripture. It's not by sight.
Walk by faith, not by sight.
Walk by faith, not by sight. I couldn't get the wording. Yes.
Right.
But it's this constant reminder that our eyes can deceive us. Like if we look at our circumstances, if we look at how life looks in the moment, we could be deceived and begin to think that we're not going in the right direction, that we're not the right person. This is not the right time. This will never work because of what we see. And we will stop trusting God. We will stop listening to his call on our life, and we will stop moving forward in the things that he's asked us to do, whether that's laundry and dishes, whether that's wiping a dirty nose, whether that's driving somebody to the next forever rehearsal or plan or schedule, or you know what I'm saying, like game, whatever it is. All of that is working as unto him, and all of that is seen by him first and foremost, and it's unto him. And then he is the one that promotes us. He's the one that exalts us in his due time. He will call us forward. He will put our name on people's hearts and minds. He will open doors that no man can shut. He will make a way when there seems like there's no way. That he will give us the grace, the strength, the ideas, the ingenuity, the creativity to do all that he's asked us to do when we do it in his strength and in his timing versus our own.
That's good. That's good. So we really just need to be reliant on him to provide. And I like what you said about, when it says we work unto God, not man, that includes ourselves, so especially as we think about what we think our lives should look like, it should be, well, what does God say our lives should look like?
Yes.
How do you make time for God as a mom and a wife and a mom of 7? What does that look like? And how has it changed? I want to know, how has that changed over the years from having newborns to now having like an adult child?
So I tend to be unconventional in most things in my life, and I'm just at this season now where I'm just okay with it. I don't know if it happens like when you're in your 40s where you just like, I'm done pretending. I'm done trying to act like I got this all together. I'm done trying to think that I should reach some level of perfection in many ways. There's still some struggles, but in many ways I've let some stuff go. And I have really come to this place that my time with the Lord is a construction zone. And there's no construction zones are not quiet places. I don't know where we came up with this whole idea of quiet time with God. Like, I'm like, when I meet with God, I'm under construction here. Like, there's some work that's going on. That is not quiet. So I used to really get so frustrated because I really thought that this was the Christian standard. I'm supposed to have a quiet time with the Lord. And I would get up early to have quiet times, and I'd have a baby wake up, or I'd have a toddler who would come in, or I'd have a kid who wanted to talk to me and be up with me and play with me or whatever. And I would feel so interrupted. I would just be like, oh my gosh, do you not see me trying to have time with Jesus? What's going on? You know? And then I would listen to myself and go, that doesn't actually sound like Jesus as I talk to my child that way. I don't think that's right either. So, but I couldn't figure it out. I was just like, I'm trying. And it wasn't until the Lord was like, do I not orchestrate all the steps? Your steps and your child's steps. So if I brought you two together, could it be that I have a plan for that time? Could it be that I orchestrated that and I set that up? So could it be that you reading your word with your baby on your lap or with the toddler beside you is actually part of my plan? Could that be? And I had to go, well, I guess so. Like, oh, okay.
Okay, God.
And I'm like, I was supposed to read 3 chapters of this today. And it was like, almost like the Lord was saying, did I say for you to read 3 chapters? Could I not speak to you in a verse? Could I not speak to you in a sunrise? Could I not speak to you in a bird on your windowsill? Could I not speak to you in quiet? Why are you saying that this is how you're supposed to spend time with me? It could look in an infinite number of ways, but you've got this narrow focus of it looks like, come on, Pinterest, a Bible and a coffee mug, and some colorful pens, a journal. Come on.
Study the whole chapter of this book.
All the things.
All the things. That is, girl, you just set some mamas free. Because that is one of the most asked questions I get on below. We do a lot of Bible study. So I do spend a lot of time in the Bible, but I like what you say. It's not always conventional. Sometimes my husband's watching TV, the kids is running around doing what I don't know. And I'm just sitting there on the couch taking notes because the Lord placed something on my heart, and I don't have a war room. I get it in where I can fit it in. Sometimes it's at the kitchen table. Girl, I had posted a picture on Instagram one time because I was getting an oil change. And it was the only time I had by myself that day. I was reading my little devotional book, And so I love that. You really just set some moms free.
Oh man, may God be praised.
Because that is a big question that I get. And I love what you said. Who told you that it had to be like this, look like this? God just wants to be with you. He just, he's so excited to just talk to you, that you would even, and we put this pressure on ourselves that it has to be this long and it has to look like this and all this other kind of stuff. So thank you for that. I wanted to ask you, I know that in conjunction with your book, The Intentional Parent, you also have some intentional cards. Can you share those with us and what they're about and how we can get some?
Yes. Okay. So let me set some context for the cards. So I believe that there are 3 levels to communication. There's 3 levels. So level number 1 is the surface level. It's what we do when you're walking down a hallway and you pass somebody and you say, hey, how are you? And they're like, fine, good. Like we're just acknowledging another person's presence. It's something that we'll do when the family members come together at the end of the day. If there's after school, after work, you come in the door, you're like, hey, how was your day? Good, it's good, you're great. All right. And you keep it moving, right? If anybody stopped in the hallway after you said, hey, how you doing? And they started going into all this long thing, you might look at them like we weren't that deep, like we weren't doing it right. Okay, so that's level 1, surface level. Level 2 is head. That's the head knowledge, and that's where we do statistics, facts, and data. That's the place where you ask, how'd you do on your test? Do you have your shoes? What time is the meeting? When do we need to leave? What time will we be back? What's for dinner? Like that's where all of that information is on level 2, surface level, head level. Level 3 is the heart level. And the heart level is where we connect with one another. This is the place of intimacy, and it's also the place of transformation. On the heart level, this is the only place where we transform. We often try to transform by knowing scripture, right? But it's only
Mm-hmm.
when scripture becomes real to us on the heart level that we transform and we change.
Mm-hmm.
We try to change our children by telling them the rules in our household, but it's only when we connect with their hearts that they transform and they do things differently. It's the heart level where we're transformed. So this card set that comes with two different sets of cards. One is questions intentional parents ask their kids, and the other one is, I'm going to just shorten the title to just simple ways to be intentional when you want to shift into a place of intention on that continuum and you're not sure how because you're just
Okay.
tired. You're just exhausted. You're just overwhelmed. And you're like, somebody give me a simple idea. This is a whole set of 27 easy, doable ways for mom to make that shift. But these are all questions in this set that help parents to have heart level conversations with their children. It puts an end to the end of the day conversation of, hey, how was your day? Good. What'd you do? Nothing. What'd you learn at school? Nothing. How are your friends? Fine. And you just kind of looking like, I know there's more here, but I don't know how to access it. I don't know where to go with it. I don't know how to get at that heart level connection with them. And the biggest risk for most of our households is that we'll hang out on level 1, surface level, and number 2, head knowledge level. We will hang
Mm-hmm.
out on those conversations because they're easy. We
Yeah.
could come and go. We acknowledge one another. We could talk about hey, how was work? Did you get your project in? When's your report due? When you gonna get your grades? What did you make? What's for dinner? What time we leaving? We could stick on that. We hang out on that. But it's only on that third level that we connect. We have intimacy and where we transform in our households.
That's good. That is really. Now, is there a specific age range for those? Because I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old.
So,
And my 3-year-old would probably just think it was a toy.
all right.
Like,
All right, I'll give you a couple of questions and you can see if this would fit.
okay.
What makes someone a good friend?
Oh, yeah.
How
Yeah.
would
My
you
6-year-old
describe
can answer
what
that.
mom does all day? Of all the things you learned today, which is the most useful? And here's the last one. What do you love to do because it makes you feel happy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think my 6-year-old, she can answer those. That's good.
Yes.
So, where can I get these cards from?
So if you go to my website, susanseay.com, that's Susan, SEAY.com/shop. And
Okay.
it's right there. The intentional parent card set's there. A link to get my book is there. Those are both sitting right there. And let me just tell you one more thing about this question set. There is
Yeah.
a card in this set that I speak at conferences and I do a talk on this one card set right here. This one card that comes out of this whole set. And this card is 10 questions to ask your kids every year. And this is a one-on-one session I have done with my kids for the past, I believe, 13 years.
You do it with
And
each of them.
I do with each of my kids
That is
once a
so
year.
intentional, Susan.
Oh my goodness. I wonder where that book title came from. But I sit down with them and I ask them these 10 questions every single year, and it transformed. I wholeheartedly believe, I always try to talk about these cards without crying, but I wholeheartedly believe that asking my children those 10 questions kept us from a lot of the drama of the teenage years that I've seen so many other families deal with. And I think if I could get these cards in more and more parents' hands, if they could have access to these 10 questions from this set, if you don't do anything else and you just did the 10 questions, would it be valuable to you to have a tool that could equip you with a way of connecting with your child so that when the storms of life hit them in their teen years and their hormones are going crazy and their friends are influencing them in all different directions and the enemy of their souls is after them like no other time, and you had a tool to keep you all tethered together to ride that storm, would it be worth it to you? I'm telling you that that's the card to go for.
Okay. Okay. Well, so we can all go to susanseay.com/shop and get the book and the card. So let's do that because that is amazing. I like the question that you already asked. And I'm curious to know what my kids would say. I have no idea what my daughter thinks that I do. Like she told me the other day, Mommy, I want to be a stay-at-home mom because I am. And I said,
Right.
well, what do you think stay-at-home moms do? And she was just like, just clean up and, work on your computer. And I was like, there's a little bit of that. A little bit of that. But she was
It's
just, I
interesting
think
to
she
hear
was
from their
thinking,
perspective.
yeah, it is. I was like, because I think she was thinking she wasn't like feeling like going to school that day.
Yeah.
And so she knew I was coming back in the house, and she was like, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom when I grow up, like, so I don't have to go to work or go to school. You know, I'm like, oh, girl, you just wait and see.
I love it. I love it.
So yes, I think she's going to have some very interesting answers to those questions. I definitely want to get my hands on those to see what she has to say, and my son as he gets older as well. Susan, we're going to have you back because, I mean, we haven't even talked about what to do when you're drained as a mom. We haven't even talked about discipline. We haven't even talked about maintaining your marriage with kids and stuff like that. So we might have to just have you back on the show. Okay.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I say let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. This conversation has been so encouraging and uplifting for me. So I know that our beloved sisters are going to be encouraged as well. Thank you so much, Susan. How can we connect with you on social media if we want to like stalk you and figure out where you at?
No stalking allowed, but
No
friends
stalking,
are
okay.
always welcome. More and more friends. I love that. Because I want to connect with more moms who have a heart to be intentional. I mean, it's an uncommon journey for a mom to say, I want to really seek out God's vision for my family and live true to our core values. I said, let's do that together. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Limited myself to those two. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook, both under my name. Susan LC is the account name. And you can just look me up, connect with me. I'd love to follow you back. Let's stay in touch and keep connected.
All right. Thank you so much, Susan. I really appreciate your time today.
Yes.
Beloved, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you were as encouraged as I was. For even more Beloved encouraged, be sure to download the Beloved Women app, available for free in the Apple and Google Play stores, or visit us online at belovedwomen.org. As always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, be beautiful, be blessed, and be loved.
If today's video was helpful, please like this video so that I'll know. Then be sure to share with a friend, because you just never know who might need some Beloved encouragement today. And for even more Beloved encouragement, including daily devotionals, practical advice for everyday Christian living, Bible studies, and more, be sure to download the Beloved Women mobile app, available for free in the Apple and Google Play stores, or visit us online at belovedwomen.org. As always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, be beautiful, be blessed, and be loved.